What's going on, YouTube? This is Dustin. I just want to give you guys an update on the tank. It's been 8 days since the last update. You can see up over here there's quite a bit of algae still growing. The algae on these rocks is all but gone, and the reason why is because I went out and got myself a yellow tang. You can see him back there a little bit. He's hiding quite a bit lately. Since I put him in, he does a lot of hiding, but he's getting better. The day after the last video, I'll show you while I can see him here, the Watchman Goby is also getting out a lot more too. I know that everybody tells me these guys are hiders. They make themselves a cave and spend a lot of their time in that cave. And that was true for him the first 3 weeks maybe. But this last week he's really come out of his shell, and 90% of his time he spends out in this little beach area. He made his new home right over here at the end of the rock, that little cave down there, and he does a lot of hiding back behind the bio brick that I have. But 90% of his time he's out just swimming in the water column. He'll go up with the clownfish, he'll swim back down. He gets all over the place now. But there's another one of the new ones, a coral beauty. The day that I filmed the last video, I went out the very next day and got, he's hiding in here, a skunk cleaner shrimp. Let's see if I can see him from over the top here. Right there. I got him at first to help with the algae, and I just like the looks of, the whole reason I wanted to go into salt water was that there's stuff in salt water that you just don't have in fresh water. So I wanted to get some different creatures, not just a bunch of fish. I wanted to get, eventually I'll get a starfish to add in here. I thought about an urchin, but I don't know that I want to get an urchin. And I can't do too much more fish, or I'm going to really start hurting the bio load of this tank. Yeah, so the first thing I got was that skunk cleaner shrimp, and then the algae problem really started to grow, even worse than it was. And so I went out and got the yellow tang after that, and everyone told me for algae I should get snails, I should get hermit crabs, some sand sifters, things like that. I actually went with that yellow tang, and in a day and a half, these rocks, you guys never got to see it, but these rocks had green hair algae, just as bad as it is right down there. That is how it was over the surface of all of these rocks. You can see where that coralline rock has turned to this green algae where it grew over top of the coralline algae. But ever since I got the tang, he has completely taken care of the algae problem. In like a day and a half, he had those rocks picked clean, to the point where I actually had to start feeding him now. I'll give him little seaweed sheets. But he takes care of it, and actually the coral beauty does a lot of picking at the rocks and picking at the algae also. This guy over here. I was really excited to see him. I don't often see a coral beauty with as much color as this one has. You know, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but he is this bright purple, and the tips of his fins are almost like a royal blue. And then he gets this orange with yellow stripes on him. a lot of the coral beauties that I've seen, at least in my area, at least at the pet stores that are around me, have been very dull colors. So when I saw him, I had to get him too. I just thought he was so cool. So now we've got these guys here. The clowns are still doing great. They stick up to this corner here a lot of the time. I think because that's where I started, that's where they were when I first fed them. And so I would put the food right up in that corner. That way they got first shot at it because they are so small in comparison to the other fish. And I think ever since, they just sort of expect the food to show up there, and so that's where they stay. But you know, they pretty much just swim around at the front of the tank. But then I got the Coral Beauty and the Tang. Sorry, lost my train of thought. And I'm gonna get a starfish next, and I think that's gonna about cut it. And after that, I'm gonna let it settle down for a while, get the balance right, and start adding some corals. I don't want to do anything too difficult. This is my first saltwater tank, so I think I'm gonna do soft corals. I'll have to look them up before I get them and make sure we got the right water flow, things like that. Yeah, that's about it for updating on this tank. A lot happened over the last week. You know, 3 new fish, had an algae outbreak and got it under control with the Tang. I changed the where I get my water from so that I could make sure that I get low phosphates. And then I also did one other thing. I got this stuff right down here. It's a phosphate reducer sponge. It's just this green sponge with a little white powder to it. Ever since I got that sponge, I've been testing my water, and even when I was still getting water out of the RO machine at the grocery store, with that sponge, it takes the phosphates right out of the water. So that worked amazingly to help get the algae under control. And then of course the Tang picked at what's left, and I just need to get this sand bed cleaned up, and then it'll all be under control at that point. So I did one more thing actually. This tank is now completely empty. All of the fish have been dispersed to other areas. For a couple of months I'm going to use it as a quarantine tank. Any new fish I get is going to come in here. I'm going to get something in here to keep a little bit of ammonia and you know, crap coming so that I can keep the biological filtration alive. And then what I did with what was in here, it got dispersed to the tank over here, which I got this LED light on. The girlfriend is obsessed with these glowfish, so she can have one. I'll take the rest, keep her happy, and then she'll let me get more tanks. That's the way I look at it. But the other ones have been dispersed over here. And then I did actually get, I'm going to come around the long way here, I did get the shrimp tank set up, and I'm just sort of letting it filter for a little while. I went and got some duckweed for the top. I'm going to get a little bit of water lettuce. But when I got this duckweed, it actually had, let's see if I can find any, right down here. I'm not going to be able to focus in on that. It's a Malaysian trumpet snail. There's another one back here. But those things are all over the place. Got maybe 16 of them in this little 10-gallon. There's one up there on the log, along with a mystery snail back here. Got maybe 16, 17 Malaysian trumpet snails, which they are, if I know my snails, Malaysian trumpet snails actually need a male and a female to breed. So hopefully there's, 16 of them. I would think I probably have at least a couple of each. And hopefully it'll give me a chance to breed those Malaysian trumpet snails also. There's also one small guppy. Just, if I had to guess, he's probably maybe a few weeks old at the most. But when they scooped up this duckweed, he came with it. Didn't see him in the tank until maybe a couple of days after I set it up, just because I didn't expect to get anything with it. So I'm sort of letting him run around, and I don't know that he's going to last, especially with the tank still cycling. But we'll see what happens. Maybe he's a survivor, and if he survives, great. I'll let him be. When I add guppies to this, I'll see how he grows and how he looks when he grows. See if he's worth keeping. But I got the Java moss over here. I added a moss ball. The duckweed for some cover at the top. I'll get some water lettuce to have a little bit deeper roots, give better top coverage. All I still have to add to this is I'm going to put I'm going to keep an Indian almond leaf in here, and anyone who's raised shrimp knows that it just helps to keep the shrimp's water parameters. They'll eat off of it. I think it provides like an antibiotic to them. And then it helps with their water parameters to help raise shrimp, and it promotes breeding. So I'll add an Indian almond leaf and keep one of those in here. I have some cholla wood for cover. Right now it's soaking so that it'll sink by the time I get shrimp. So I'm going to put that sort of towards the back here in this open area. And I also have some calcium rocks, which will help with their exoskeleton, their shells. That'll help with the snails too. Actually, they'll be able to get a little bit from that calcium. So that's really what's going on. I'm just letting this cycle, and in maybe another couple of weeks, I will start adding a few guppies and some shrimp. So that's all I got for today. As I come across these projects that I'm doing, when I set this up, I didn't record. I should have, but YouTube is new to me, so I'm still getting used to wanting to record everything that I do. But I'm going to start recording these projects as they come along, and in the future, get a few months down the road here, and I'll start putting out some how-to videos. Maybe I'll start doing Quick Tip Tuesdays or something like that. Something to make this channel a little bit more interesting instead of just an update every single week on the fish tank. When I started this channel, I didn't really think about what I wanted the channel to be. I sort of just got into this saltwater thing and was like, oh, I need to throw this up on YouTube and let everybody check out what I'm doing. So there wasn't really a lot of thought into starting up this channel, but I want to start making this something that you guys actually get some use out of, something that'll give you a little bit of knowledge, and hopefully I can learn from you guys just as much as you're learning from me. So that's all I got for this week. I'll put out another update next week, and as I keep getting these projects, I'll start recording what I'm doing, and we can start throwing up some how-to videos, some tips, whatever we can come up with. Hopefully down the road, this is going to be a little ways down the road, maybe 6 months to a year down the road, I can start doing some giveaways and stuff too. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Subscribe if you want to keep checking out the tanks, and hopefully in a few months I'll have some tips and some how-to videos. And so hit that subscribe button, and give me a comment and a like if you enjoyed it. Thank you.